Max Ray, Brilliant Sea Operations Commander.
Welcome back to Retro Wednesday at the Tidarium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the Kenner Centurions, Max Ray, all of his weapon systems, everything I know about this, and this will be the last video to round out the vintage Kenner, but it won't be my last Centurions video because there's a lot of great things sort of coming for Centurions. We're going to talk about Max Ray coming up. First off, looking at the standard Max Ray figure, look at that nice mustache, that Tom Selleck look. It does kind of feel like they did model the character after Tom Selleck a bit, and a lot of people feel the same way. Same articulation, but I do want to point out that it is a different. Each one of the Centurions, Max, Ace, and then Jake, have different suits, so it's slightly different, so they're not the same thing, just recolored. Now, he's got a little bit of a head up and down and left and right. Since they are bigger figures, they have a little more articulation. You could theoretically do a 360 on the arm. Here's the thing: 35 years later, these aren't holding up because there's small discs inside the legs, and then the way the arm's working, it's not holding up to try to move it too far. So I would advise very minimal movement and articulation on these figures. They can handle a little bit, but too much, they're gonna break. Leg, a little bit to the forward, and the way it's designed, the idea was for it to go way out. Don't take it too far out, you could break it. And then you do have some knee articulation, but really, this day and age, we're using them as statues to hold up the suits, right? So I do like having a figure in each weapon system, so that's kind of fun. And I actually saw someone else's collection, how they had a figure in each weapon system, and I was like, oh, that's cool, I'll go after that. But there's a little story before I go any further, that the reason I even collect Centurions is I found one of these for 10 cents at a garage sale, and tossed it in a box, and I came across it and thought, man, it'd be cool to get some parts for it, and I figured it'd be real cheap, and in 2019 it was pretty cheap. Nowadays, not so cheap, so it's kind of crazy. Anyway, there's the helmet, and the helmets are all modeled different. So there is the Max helmet, and this weapon system that he comes with out of the box is called Cruiser. Now, Cruiser has a few different things. You've got his backpack, you have a missile launcher with a giant orange missile on it. Very colorful. You've got these yellow propeller, like little engine things. I'm sure there's an exact name for them. You have this weird kind of gun, but you could plug 3 more things into that gun itself. And you have yet another gun there on his chest. Now, this is an exaggerated, kind of super large gun in the show. It's like a quarter this size. So pretty much all the weapons are about a quarter the size, like this and this in the show. The backpack's pretty close. So it's kind of strange, but this is his Cruiser costume. Now, when you... see if this works. When you move this, it's supposed to launch the missile. Yeah, some of those mechanisms don't work just right. So you'll have to launch the missile the old-fashioned way. But maybe if I plugged it straight in. Now, there are 2 different versions of this. There was a running change. Some of these only have 2 plug-ins, and some have 3. I don't know why. And I don't know which one came first, the chicken or the egg, or the 2 or the 3. But it is a running change. It is something different. I figured I'd point it out. Next, we have Max in his Tidal Blast. Now, Tidal Blast is kind of a big, heavy, back-heavy type of weapon system. If you try to stand him up straight, he's going to fall back. Well, I'm pulling off a little bit straighter. But I have so much trouble balancing him standing with this. But usually he's kind of leaning against the back of a display or something. So anyhow, we'll struggle with this as we go. He'll probably fall over a couple times. But this is the weapon system that pretty much every kid had. I mean, if you didn't even have Centurions, you had a Tidal Blast for whatever reason. This thing was really, really common. It was the lower price weapon system, but it was kind of cool. It actually had a bit of bang for the buck. It did quite a bit of stuff. And it looks kind of cool. And I like a few things about this thing. We're going to talk about it. And it has some accessories that I don't remember. I had this thing as a kid. I don't remember a hook, like a grappling hook. But I remember, in the show he used it. And then this kind of grappling hook kind of piece right here. I've got it clipped on his arm there. But usually people have it below the gun on the front here. So let's have a look at this thing and see what all fun stuff it does. So first of all, you can move these things 360. These move around 360. The design of these, I've taken a couple apart. And they just have like a little button that gets triggered when you move this thing back and forth. Now, this here will launch it in whatever sort of position that you have them in. Moving this will launch them, and it's going to be hard, but I don't really want it to go anywhere, but I don't know which one will launch first. There we go. That's how that works. It does come with these fins here that are reused with the depth charger, and we're going to see that here in just a minute. And then they have a technical description for what this piece is. I don't know if it's a satellite radar kind of thing. And then again, I was talking about this grappling hook piece here, this front gun that does move, and I believe, when you move it, it moves that back piece also. So that means you could possibly launch it using that front piece also. So a lot of crazy stuff. In the show, this actually shoots up and it pulls him out of some dangerous areas. You can also tie it to a string, kind of dangle him. So some interesting stuff that you can do there with this. But another thing that I like to show for these weapon systems, and I'll try to show it as often as I can, every single piece on this weapon system connects together and works together in harmony so that you can just put it on a shelf. I like that. Like, hey, I'm done. I just want to display it. As an adult collector, you can display your weapon systems sitting like this. As a kid, you could not lose all your parts when you're playing with a different weapon system. So that is always fun. I love that. The next weapon system we're going to look at for Max Ray is the Depth Charger, and this thing is huge. It is the biggest weapon system for Max, and it is probably his best. I just think it's so impressive. It's so massive. It looks so great on the shelf. It does look amazing on the shelf, and this is a very nice system with some fun play features, but mostly, in my opinion, a great display piece. Just a massive display piece. Really takes up a lot of space, but it's a lot of fun. So looking at this, there's a few things I want to talk about right up front. First of all, he has these launching missiles in the front and a launching depth charger in the back. So pressing this blue button, you get a launching mechanism, and both sides shoot the same way. And then pressing this on the back, you can launch the depth charge. Boom, blows up whoever's behind it. Maybe some strafers flying in the water. I doubt it. I don't know. But he uses that quite a bit and gets himself out of some jams there. I do like the stickers on this to break up the orange monotony that's going on, and it's just really nice that the stickers are on it. I've seen several without the stickers, and it just kind of does look boring and bland when there's no stickers on it. So that's always a challenge when collecting these. Like, how do you get the stickers? Sometimes you can find some scans online and stuff to make your own, but still very, very fun, very big and massive. Now, a couple of other things. I think that this is supposed to move and fire either the depth charger or this, but it doesn't work on mine, so I don't know. So I'm not really sure if that what that's supposed to do, but I feel like it should. I think it moves the gear right here in his back, and then that's supposed to launch these. So when they get older, they don't work 100% of the way. And since I didn't really have this as a kid, I didn't even know it existed until I started collecting these as an adult. This gun here is different than the gun that comes with the Tidal Blast. It's real easy to get these guns mixed up, but they are very, very similar guns. They're just different. And for me, for a while there, actually, I think I had a couple of these Tidal Blast guns on it until I got the real guns. Because I don't think I ever got anything complete right off the bat. I had to piece them together. Now there's the big question of, do you like him better with his helmet on in this, or do you like it more show accurate with his helmet off? So I think that most people display him with his helmet off in this because it is show accurate. It does look good, and look at that great mustache. You don't want to waste that mustache paint. And the other thing is, if you're doing the figure in every weapon system, it's really hard sometimes to track down enough masks. You can easily find figures that are just floating around with nothing. Those are a lot easier to find than ones that have a mask or even some weapons or accessories. So it's a great way to display this suit. Just have a standard figure like this with no mask. I also want to show how I store an extra system that has no figure in it and every single part is accounted for. Now this isn't plugged in down here. I just put it down there because it fits on the shelf better. Like it actually fits on the shelf. If I stuck it back there, it wouldn't fit on the shelf. Another thing that several collectors have brought up to me is if you store them with the missiles in there, you're actually putting that pressure on that spring, and they don't like the idea of this pressure on the spring. So it actually would be better not to have your missiles in there. But I just think it really takes away from the look. So it's kind of one of those things that it won't fire as well maybe 10 or 15 years from now if we just leave that pressure on that spring, or that pressure could cause damage to the missile. Those are the concerns. But anyway, that's what it looks like if it's not in with a figure in it. And this one has, like, it's very boring with the lack of stickers. Like, this one's missing stickers when the other one over here has the stickers. I mean, it just adds so much more flair to it to have stickers on it. I think it looks so much better. It's another fun point. The last thing we need to talk about, Max Ray's CBAT, and this is the rarest, most expensive system that he has. And you could argue, is it more rare than Traumatizer? Probably not. Is it more rare than Swing Shot? It's probably equally rare to the Swing Shot. Maybe it's even, no, it's just equally rare to the Swing Shot. The Traumatizer was an exclusive, so it's more rare. But this thing is very strange, and I know I'm missing a ton of stickers on this thing. I'm sure I'm missing stickers on this thing. It just looks a little bit bland. In fact, when I got it, I'm like, why is this thing such a big deal? Why is everybody spending so much money on this thing? Because it's just hard to get. That's all there is to it. Now, there are a few fun things you can do with this, but let's look at all the accessories. First, the weird thing about this guy is his hoses. Like, there's hoses all over. You need to be careful. If you get one of these, if you spend the $300, $500, $600, who knows, to get one complete, you want to, like, boil the hoses, or I don't know about boiling, but put them in hot water and slowly bend them, or you could snap them. I've seen snapped hoses, a lot of snapped hoses in my day. Lucky for me, most of my hoses were partially formed when I got them, so I do have some damage to my hoses, but they didn't snap. Also, I got this part and this part. My buddy made them for me, reproduction. I don't have original. I mean, it's just, I don't feel like spending the crazy money that people are asking for them. I only have 4 of the 6 missiles. It's supposed to have 6 missiles. So this is a big reason why I haven't made this video yet. I wanted to make it like a year ago, but I figured I would have found all the parts by now and had it all original. And I just don't care about original so much, but at the end of the day, I want to show it complete, and it only have 4 missiles is not complete. Anyway, I don't think anyone's really going to care about that so much. Get 6 missiles. That's easier said than done. Moving this on the back here, you could churn these turbines, and that would kind of push them through. In my mind, though, these should be at the bottom, but everything shows it at the top, so I'm going to leave it at the top. When you do that, also, it moves. I think this is blocking it. It moves these pieces in here. You see the front, that kind of color moving up and down. Also, it has the whole section's moving. So that's kind of a cool effect. Now, I was thinking I want to put this on that that part for that's usually used for the detonator, and it's like the automatic. You pull it. This thing here. The reason I don't, you could use this and make all these things function, right? But then your hoses would have to extend, and more likely you'd break them, or you'd have to leave them disconnected. So it's kind of a pain. Disconnecting and reconnecting the hoses is scary. It's very scary. And so for that, I didn't use this. I really wanted to use this and show like an example. But so he does have a depth charge piece right here, and then he has this harpoon gun, and this harpoon gun is kind of cool. It's just different. Like, you can't get it with any other weapon system. And I really don't see anything with this weapon system they carried over. It was all made just for this weapon system, which is frustrating because in some cases you could get parts from a cheaper system to help complete yours. Not with this, not with the Traumatizer, and not with good old Swing Shot. So it makes it frustrating, very frustrating. So this is my quick look at Max Ray and all of his weapon systems. I hope it was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. But I do want to quickly say, if you're getting into collecting Centurions in 2021, they've gotten far more expensive. I started in 2019, and I thought I was overpaying. but they've gotten kind of crazy. I say take your time, look around, ask around, and don't pay top dollar for everything unless you don't really care. Then I guess pay top dollar for everything. But deals can still be found in 2021 if you look hard enough. And if you're like me, you can buy them incomplete and look for parts. But as you can see with my CBAT, it's still incomplete. So that is the risk that you take for buying cheap and being a cheap collector. But anyway, let me know what you think about this. Like and subscribe. Tydirium Hanger out.
Thanks for saving me one, Ace. Crystal, Jake needs the Hornet. We need more firepower. If dinosaurs like that hadn't died out some 65 million years ago, the reptiles might have developed into Earth's most intelligent life form. Good hunting, guys.